The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is your special guest host, Fiddy, as I'm filling in for Mike Bono today. He is actually out at a comedy show. So I'm going to be bringing to you a brand new episode, our very first one ever, of an Easter Roundtable, talking all things Easter. We've done every other holiday, so it's time to do Easter. Before we get into the show, make sure you guys peep all the sponsors in the pre-roll and the post-roll. All small business owners, they're all great supporters of the show. Please support them and support Ride Home Rants, the podcast. Without further ado, we bring you the very first annual 2024 Easter Roundtable. I have a bunch of great guests who have been on one other time, up to 5 or 6 other times. Some of them have been on together. Some of them are just meeting each other for the first time. So we have a great panel here. They're going to give you a lot of insight to their backgrounds with Easter and all things Easter related. Without further ado, I'm going to let the guests take it away. They're going to introduce themselves, tell you about themselves and where they're from. JJ, let's start with you.
Hey, I'm JJ Phillips from Austintown, Ohio. Quality inspector at Axel Oil Company. Enjoy working out, eating food, and just and just basically just hanging out, man. Chilling, being an old guy.
That's all right. We all get old one day. So, yes. Brandon, let's go to you next.
Yes, sir. I'm Brandon Wiley, out of Erie, PA. I'm a licensed mental health therapist. I've worked at the Department of Veteran Affairs for the past 7 years, but my main passion is my business, Opened Eyes, which I'm the executive director of, and we do consultant-based work and program delivery and implementation on leadership development and diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Okay. Chris Marsco, you're next.
Hey, I'm Chris Marsco. I'm from Cortland, Ohio originally. Now I reside in Warren. I'm an intervention specialist, currently at Lordstown High School. I have a resource room, and this will also be my 10th season upcoming as a football coach. Got my start as a college level coach at Youngstown State under Bo Pelini, and then I've also spent time at Niles McKinley and most recently Matthews High School, and this year I'll be at Mineral Ridge.
Okay. Shannon, you're next.
Hi, I'm Shannon Stewart. I'm a licensed mental health therapist for the federal government as well. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm also the co-founder of Opened Eyes, which is the organization that Brandon had mentioned. And I'm just a really good time. I'm looking forward to this conversation today. Love to laugh. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys tonight and having a good conversation.
Okay. Jason?
Hi, my name is Jason Bickel. I currently live in Wycliffe. I'm a plant manager at a manufacturing company. We make steel snowplow blades. Also, I just joined my brother's nonprofit organization called PGG. We raise money for football programs. and I'm also a recruiter for APR and football coach. I'm back at North again, defensive coordinator. Be a good year.
Okay. And Rusty,
you going to be South this year?
Yes.
I hope you do, because I'm not a fan of South football. I'm a Kirtland guy.
Leave it to Rusty. Rusty, take it away.
Not to. Hey, my name is Rusty Bliss. I live here in Willoughby. I am an airline pilot by trade and a travel softball and high school softball coach here in Willoughby, father of 3 that keep me very busy, even though they're all able to get out and do their own thing. But my family comes first, and that's the thing that keeps me going for sure.
Well, that's awesome. We have a lot of great guests here today. Going to bring you a lot of different, experiences with their Easter. Some are parents, some are expecting parents, some are married, some aren't married. So it's going to be a pretty unique background. Some are originally where they grew up, some are in new places. So a lot of different information we're going to get from everybody today. But as always, again, I am Fiddy, the special guest host, manager of the Ride Home Rants podcast. So we're going to start with JJ and then go to Brandon, Chris, Shannon, Jason, and Rusty on the order of the questions, okay? So number 1, where does Easter rank as your favorite holiday in the year? Now, there's a lot of holidays in the year, but where does Easter rank in your personal favorites? JJ?
Oh, man, it's probably down towards the bottom. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, Easter brings back a lot of memories. Just trying to stay up all night the night before, trying to memorize my Easter speech because I couldn't read it from the paper because my grandparents wouldn't let me. So I mean, if you messed it up, it was just so embarrassing because you're up there in front of the whole church trying to say it, and it's just the worst thing ever. So yeah, down towards the bottom for me.
All right, Brandon, as he makes his grilled cheese sandwich. Brandon, where's Easter rank for you, man?
So I'd have to say, when I was like a practicing Catholic, and I know I've talked about this before. I don't really practice Catholicism anymore, but when I was a practicing Catholic, it's still up there for me, just because I'm still rooted in Catholic roots. I would say it's probably like 4th or 5th. I'm a Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving type of guy first and foremost. So, it probably comes like right after that. It's still an important thing. I appreciate the deeper meaning behind Easter. And so, yeah, I'd rank it around there.
Okay. Chris, where does Easter rank for you in your favorite holidays?
So I'm glad I had some time to think about this because I really do love Easter. As a practicing Catholic still, it's a really big day in the Catholic calendar. And I don't know, there's always an excitement about Easter. As many times I've given up sweets. I wake up and just start smashing Reese's a lot of the time. So that's always a special day in the calendar. And this is no slight to Easter, but I'd probably have to place it 3rd. And it's just a calendar thing too. The weather's sometimes nice, sometimes not, but Thanksgiving I'd put 1. You got football, family, and food. Hard to beat that in my priority list. And then Christmas I'd say is just a little bit over Easter because you got, the hype. There's songs, there's decorations, more build up, and then do love Easter though. Now that I'm not in college, I'd say it's probably surpassed Halloween.
Okay. Shannon, how about you? Where does Easter rank on your favorite holiday list?
So for me, I would honestly put Easter a little lower on the totem pole, primarily because I feel like when I was younger, it used to be so much fun, going to church with my family, dyeing eggs, looking forward to getting a basket, doing the Easter egg hunt, things like that. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten away from those type of things. From the religious or spiritual side, I'm still a spiritual person, but I pray and do those things every day. So some certain holidays, that have that religious background to it, kind of just go to the bottom for me for that reason. But I am an expecting parent. I'm about to have my first child. And I feel like because of that, I'm going to get that childlike excitement back again to do like the Easter egg hunts, dye eggs, create a basket, all types of things like that. So right now it's low, but if we do this podcast next year, that might change.
Well, Shannon, congratulations
Thank you.
on expecting your first child. I know a couple other of the guests just had their first child, and a couple more, or fourth child, I should say, and a couple more expecting their second one. So everybody here is a parent, and I know it's a little bit different of a meaning for everybody with that. So it's great. But congratulations to all of you who are going to be, parents again or parents for the first time.
Thank you.
To the newly founded dad in the group, for number 4. Jason, take it away on this question. Where does Easter rank as one of your favorite holidays?
Everyone's kind of touched on a little bit. Easter is up there. Christmas probably number 1, but Easter might be 2 or 3, and it's really based on the excitement of the kids. If it's one they get around and coloring Easter eggs and all the the Easter bunny and the whole thing, that kind of adds to the excitement. I don't think any, they're all kind of the same to me. There's like certain food for this one or that one. And then like other Thanksgiving, that one's, pretty awesome. But if the kids get into it, it definitely adds to it. And my house is pretty excited about the Easter bunny and coloring eggs. So it's up there.
Sure. And Rusty, round us out on this one. Where does Easter rank as one of your favorite holidays?
All right. It's a top 3 for sure. It's a traditional thing with our family. Everybody always would gather at grandma's, and everybody had their part. Everybody'd bring something. Everybody'd do something. So you're getting together with your cousins, your aunts and uncles, and like everybody's mentioned, the calendar. So we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then Easter was the big one. But now everybody's dying off. I don't want to sound crass, but so now we're having to try to redevelop it and reorganize it amongst our relatives. So we're bringing it. We keep that tradition. So now it kind of rotates to who's going to host it and everything else. But it's more of a traditional thing. But the best thing is it's spring's knocking on the door, man. So it's baseball, softball season. So it's opening the door to that. So it's a whole other thing. Christmas is nice, but you got to get through January and February. Now we're coming in here in March and April, and it's like, we know what's next. So maybe snow until June, but it's opening the door to a whole new season, and it's more of a traditional thing for us.
Gotcha. Yeah, and actually some of you have touched upon it. And I'm actually it brings us to the second question. So Easter is constantly changing its date from year to year based on the religious calendar, right? Not a hard world calendar, but the religious calendar. So in your opinion, because Easter, has been in March, it's been in early April, it's been in late April. Like, what is the best month and, date, in your opinion, to have Easter? JJ?
I would probably say April, just because, we're in Ohio, so the weather, it could be snow or it could be 60, 70 degrees. So, it's just, I don't know. I'm just used to, it just seems like it should be in April, but it's just a personal preference for me.
Sure. Brandon?
I feel like growing up, I feel like it was always in April. Like, I didn't even think about, I don't think Easter started happening in March until I became an adult. At least that's in my mind. That's how I feel.
It's like,
so I'm like, I've always associated with April. So since I've been older and realizing Easter happens in March sometimes, when does this happen? Is this something new? But yeah, I don't know. It's just the association. April and Easter seem to be connected. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I prefer it in April.
All right. That's a good analogy for it. Chris, what about you on this?
I say April too. Now Aprils look different the older I've gotten too. I don't, whether you believe in global warming or not, but it's not as miserable to live up here anymore. The weather's kind of getting more mild, more early. So I don't really have a problem with it being as early as it is now, because you can still get a nice sunny day where it's beautiful out. But another reason I really like Easter so much too, not just the religious aspects, but normally works in conjunction with the Masters too. And like Rusty said, that kind of means spring's right around the corner. And so I kind of like when it falls back to back, or when it works well with the Masters. But I like associating it with April, like Brandon says. I don't know, it just seems right to me.
Okay. Shannon, what about you? Because you're in 2 really cold places where you grew up and where you're at now. So is it really matter if it's March or April for you?
Yeah, right. It should be in June for real, but that's not an option. So I would go with April. There's just something about Easter, and I think it's like the colors. Spring, the flowers are here, the pastel look, and those are kind of the same colors that you use when you're dyeing eggs or coloring eggs and things like that. Plus, I also associate it with spring break in college. Spring break was a little wild, but that's not what this podcast is about. But I always thought of that. I always look forward to April for that reason. Like, we're getting a break. We're getting out of here. We're going somewhere warm. So I'm going to vote April is the best time to celebrate Easter.
Okay. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. The later, the better. Because thinking of having to plant Easter eggs for a hunt, it's not fun. You can't do it in the snow. It's not good because one, the kids see your tracks. So you blow it right there. And stomping around through the mud and everything, that's no good. So the better the ground, better the hunt. So later the better.
Okay. And Rusty, what about you?
April for sure. Better weather.
Okay. See, and I think everybody would agree April is better. It's a funny thing though, when I was going through these topics and what we were going to come up with here, I thought back to, and some of you were in college at this time will remember, but Easter of 2008 was the earliest Easter in like 150 years. And it was actually in, I think, the second or third weekend of March, to the point that when I was in college at Bethany, our spring break coincided with Easter. It was like the craziest thing ever. And that Easter, I think, according to the calendar, won't happen again for like another 100 years being that early. I want to say it was like March 17th. That's how early that was. But that's it was a little cold that year. We'll just say that. So, all right, next one. And everybody here is a foodie, and we're going to start off with JJ because he is a foodie here. If you had to pick, What is your one favorite Easter food?
That's a tough one. I got a lot of favorites. I'm gonna go with ham. It gotta be the ham. I mean, it's just something about it. I don't know. It's just not Easter with me if we don't got a ham. I mean, you just gotta have it.
Okay, Brandon, what about you?
I don't do pork anymore. So I mean, maybe at a time I would have said ham, but I'm a pasta guy. For some reason, Easter and pasta go hand in hand. So that's my Italian side coming out in me. So
that's definitely your Italian side coming. That's what all the time people was like, it's pasta coming up here. But Brandon, go ahead and finish this out. Is it pasta? What type of pasta?
It's pasta. I mean, growing up, that was what we did for Christmas. Like, my mom's side of the family they're Italian, 100%. And that's, it was just kind of a thing. Every holiday you're incorporating some type of pasta. I don't know, Easter and pasta just sounds right to me. Probably more than anything else. But at a time, like I said, when I was eating more pork and that, I probably would have said, I incorporate a little bit of ham in there, but pasta's my top.
What is the pasta? What is your go-to Easter pasta?
So this is actually, when my grandfather was alive, he used to make, and my grandma, they used to make homemade raviolis. And so obviously, they have passed. I haven't had a homemade ravioli in a long time, but my mom and my dad still make our the spaghetti sauce. You know what I mean? So okay. the recipe's been passed. So as long as I have that sauce, I can do anything. All right. I could do any type of noodles. You just give me the noodles. I don't care what they are, bow tied, rigatoni, whatever. And I'll pour that sauce on, and that gives enough fulfillment for me.
Okay. We're going to go to the next Italian guy on this and see what he has to say. But Chris, take it away.
I was going to say, I'm going to throw a twist on this. So we normally do a ham too on Easter, and I'm just not the biggest ham guy. But my dad's side of the family, we get together on Good Friday, and it's, the last Friday of Lent. And we kind of do a meal almost like Christmas Eve in a traditional Italian setting. So we got, we lay it out. We go crab legs, cod, salmon, we basically do 7 fishes. So I'm going to spoil myself and say Good Friday and have the crab legs because Easter's kind of hit or miss with me food-wise. But, yeah.
Okay. Shannon, how about you on this?
I agree with you about the seafood vibes. We would have a fish fry on Good Friday, and then the traditional food we would have, in addition to the ham and all that stuff on Easter, we always had deviled eggs. We'd make so many eggs, like you can only die but so many. And some of those is getting cracked and turned into deviled eggs, and that was just really, really good. My grandma used to make them all the time. So that's what I remember, the fish fry on Friday, and a couple days later, cracking those eggs and making deviled eggs.
Okay, Jason, what about you?
And I am very boring about it. Everyone's saying ham and all their stuff, and I love hard-boiled eggs. So we go for there's like 40 of them here, and I'll probably eat 20 of them. I eat hard-boiled eggs every day of the week.
Okay, and Rusty, round us out on this one because you had a pretty interesting take back on the Thanksgiving show about the food. So, what is your take though on Easter? What's your favorite food?
Ham. No, I don't. Told you, taking care of those kids. So here I am getting food for them. But hey, ham. And my dad used to make an awesome prime rib. Prime rib was the go-to with the ham, and it was great. I mean, it was awesome. And you can't leave out the Reese's peanut butter eggs. That was the mainstay, man. That was the thing. But ham and prime rib. But yeah, Good Friday was always another. It kind of extended from Good Friday, and who doesn't love a good fish fry? So, you get that whole change from the fish to the gorging yourself on various meats and everything else on Easter. So, but it was ham and prime rib on Easter, which made it really, really something to look forward to. It was really good.
Okay. A lot of interesting takes on that. That's why I wanted to have that topic on the show. All right, JJ, we're going to go back to you on this to start us out. From the public view, Easter is a holiday where people seem much more relaxed and able to do more things freely than, say, Christmas or Thanksgiving, as an example. A lot of people take trips, go to sporting events, baseball or basketball, golf, they go out to eat, or just do numerous different things. Why do you think Easter is this type of holiday that's so relaxed, even though it's so meaningful in the consideration of the religious realm? What is your take on this?
I just think the times have just been changing like that. Because when I was younger, it wasn't relaxed. Like, we weren't going on trips and going to sporting events. We were like in church most of the day and on that type of deal. And then with the family and having dinner afterwards. So I think since times have like really been changing, the holiday just got a little bit more and more relaxed.
Okay, Brandon, what's your take on this? Because I think you have a pretty unique take with your religious background, and then now.
Yeah, just for context too, even though I still consider myself a Christian. Obviously when you're practicing Catholic, and Catholicism has such a deep meaning for it. It's just, I don't know. It's something else about it. I think it's the somberness of, especially if you're a believer in Christ, just the 3 days resurrection, it's just kind of like this mode of emotion that you go through. And so I don't know, and Easter is supposed to be the uplifting, we rise on this day, and there's something about it that's communal and family oriented. And it's not about presents. It's not about really anything like that. Although, my parents, they just brought over an Easter basket for my son, and it was almost like Christmas. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, you get him, and he got toys and stuff and all this other stuff. And they didn't even bring me anything. So I kind of felt a little salty about that. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, I think that really has a lot to do with it. It's just a deeper meaning. It's more of a reflective time. But nonetheless, I do appreciate it as a relaxed type of holiday instead of the hustle and bustle of other ones that you typically go through.
Sure. Chris, what's your take on this?
So Brandon kind of touched on my first one, but I think there's kind of three reasons why it's like more laid back. The somberness, definitely one of them. If you understand it from the calendar in terms of Jesus, I mean, it's Easter day is a happy day, but the lead up to it is very quiet in the church. No one's talking, lights are dimmed. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and a lot of the family passing also kind of adds to it. I feel like, some of the people who may have left our lives at this point or were part of that generation we're getting together was really, really important. And not that it's not still in some families and whatnot, but I feel like certain traditions along the way or certain things that you uphold might not be as strong necessarily. Secondly, I think the expectations, it's not Christmas. Like I said, the lead up after Thanksgiving to Christmas, some people skip Thanksgiving. And I feel like the expectations make that hype what it is. I feel like there's no hype around Easter. And the weather has a lot to do with that too. Like you're kind of, if it's cold outside, it's not really like, hey, let's go outside and do something crazy for it. And, if it's nice, you might sit outside, but it's kind of like the dawning of a new season. So I just think everything about it lends its hand to just relaxing and just a lot of reflection, I think.
Okay. Shannon, how about you? What's your take on this?
I would agree with everybody's opinion on it so far, especially the part about it not really being about presence. That's not really the focus of it. It's more about being present in the moment. Whether you practice any type of faith or not, it just seems more just chill for some reason. Because even Thanksgiving, I feel like the big focus on that is the food, and then you get to Christmas, and there's a spiritual aspect to that too, but it's overshadowed by the present and things like that, where I feel like Easter, there's just a balance of it all. There's a little balance of like a little focus on the food, a little focus on the spirituality portion, and the presents come from, the Easter egg hunts or getting a basket or something like that. So I just feel like the focus changes a little bit more. But like they were saying, as some of our elders have passed on, they were the ones who really carried on a lot of those traditions and made sure the family got together. So sometimes I feel like that tradition part kind of dies out and then comes back again with each generation. So I feel like it kind of ebbs and flows.
Okay. Jason, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of said some of the things I was thinking, especially Brandon and Christopher. One thing, reflection. I think Brandon used that word. I think a lot of holidays, you get lost on what they're really for other than the holiday. Like Independence Day, 4th of July, it's like fireworks and it's a party, but there's not a lot of thought of what it really is. And Christmas, it's it's presents and it's this and that, but there's not a lot of thought as to what the holiday really means. And I think this one, because there isn't a lot of that, the fireworks and the gifts, there is more awareness and reflection of what the holiday is for, what the day is for. And then Brandon also said the word rise. That's another word I was thinking too, like because of like change of season and again what the day represents, it feels like kind of a liftoff to a new season. The weather's changing, kind of like a new energy coming around, and it has kind of a refreshing feel of it for me.
Sure. And Rusty, round us out on this one.
I'm going to steal what he just said because it is just, I think a lot of it is the reflection and what the holiday means, but it is seasonal. It is a chill time of the year. It's like, man, we got over this ordeal, especially in this part of the world with the weather and everything else. And it just plays on that mindset that, I hear I'm going to get corny and symbolic. Okay, here's Jesus coming out of the grave. Here we are coming out of the winter. We're going into a new season where it's the end of the multiple back to back holidays too. So you got a little bit of a breather. People can enjoy it for what it is, and then the season is changing. It is getting nicer out, and people can breathe. The kids are getting ready to finish up school. That ties into it. It does get a little crazy with the expectations of the kids with the gifts. It has turned into in some cases, it can turn into a second Christmas. But as the kids get older, they realize that's not what it is. And it makes it a whole lot easier on us. So definitely for sure. Everything everybody said ties it all in.
Sure. And and my take on this too, and this maybe people agree, they don't, but again, when you have you're in the heart of baseball starting and they play 7 days a week, right? And you're talking basketball is getting into their playoffs or into the season. Yep. You're talking NHL hockey as well, and then you're talking about golf. I think the sports tie into it as well because they can't put those off because of timing reasons, and they play normally on all their holidays. So I think because the weather's nice, people want to go. Not too many people, I don't think, want to go to a sporting event on Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's. So I think that does tie into it as well. And I think you're right. The change in the weather, students finishing school, things like that. And we're going to kind of go back to this here in a little bit. So the thing we all want to talk about is what everybody's going to do for Easter this year. So whether you're doing something or nothing, hanging out in your pajamas all day, or wrestling the Easter Bunny, let's hear it. So JJ, what are you doing? You and the Easter Bunny gonna rumble, or you just gonna be kind of cute?
I mean, I guess we can go a few rounds, see what happens. I'm gonna be at the house in my pajamas probably, and we're gonna be cooking here, eating here, just us and the kids, family. So that's just gonna be it. It's gonna be a nice, relaxing day.
Okay, Brandon, what are you guys doing for Easter?
We're gonna, for my son, there's a little family Easter egg hunt that we're gonna do. Obviously, spend some time together with the family, just really relax. Probably gonna do nothing too heavy. Figure out what we're gonna eat and things like that. Probably is gonna be pasta for me. So we'll see what else. I'll throw in some collard greens too. I like to mix it up a little soul food. That's my other side of my culture, my other half of me. So I gotta have the best of both worlds. So we'll probably do that and just have something low key, nothing too wild this year, but just kind of family time. And of course, I told you my lady's pregnant. She's sick, so she's not doing, she's having a hard time right now. So we're probably just going to keep it pretty basic this year.
Sure, I definitely get that. Chris, what are you and your family doing for Easter this year?
All right, so we're getting together with my dad's side of the family on Good Friday, like I mentioned a little earlier. And then Sunday morning, we're going to wake up. I got a little one at home that's 16, 17 months old right in there. So Easter bunny's starting to be a really big deal. Easter egg hunts are really cool. So we're going to hide some eggs around the house, some goodies for him, really enjoy that. Probably cook up some breakfast and bunny-shaped cinnamon rolls or pancakes or something like that. And then go to church, go over to my mom's house after to celebrate with her side of the family. And then we're going to go eat ravioli at my wife's grandpa's at nighttime. I'm just going to eat and reflect and be happy and, spend time with family. I think Shannon mentioned it earlier about new traditions and stuff. So, we have gone through, unfortunately, a lot of loss in, all parts of our family, but, having little one at home and everything that it means now, it's a real special thing.
You know what? If you're going to be cooking pancakes and making, Easter shapes of them, JJ doesn't live that far away from you. He's a foodie. He might be over having breakfast with you guys about 7 a.m.
I mean, that sounds like, he looked like he's having a lot of meals that day.
Hey. Come over, JJ. I'm short, but I can put it away now. We'll eat good.
Oh, that's funny. Shannon, what are you guys doing for Easter this year?
So this year, I'm probably going to spend it with my husband's family or my in-laws. His grandma's usually the one taking the charge, but she's sick right now. So we're all going to her house, and the cousins and aunties and uncles are rallying together, and everybody's taking a dish over. We were going to have an Easter egg hunt, but I don't know what the weather's going to be like, so it might be an indoor egg hunt situation going on. So we're all trying to figure out how we're going to make that happen. But this year, we're going to try to get the adults involved and make some eggs for the adults, with a little maybe adult beverage or something like that, mini bottle inside the egg. So that's going to be something a little different this year, but that's mainly what we plan on doing.
Okay. Well, hopefully you and Brandon don't get too much snow up in the great city of Erie. So hopefully it's nice to you guys up there, because people think Cleveland's weather can be rough. Erie's a whole other kind of weather.
Yeah, I see it every morning. I'm familiar.
Jason, what about you guys? Having the new baby and the 4 kids. What are you guys gonna be doing this year on Easter?
My wife likes to host as many things as possible, so we're gonna have as many people as she can find to come over, and the whole day it'll probably end up being about 10 kids, 6 and under. So the whole day really is planned around a Easter egg hunt and then managing the chaos that they will create over the 8 hours they'll be here. It'll be a busy day. Be crazy.
And I don't think it's really not supposed to be very warm for us here in Cleveland. I think maybe like a of the 40s. So everybody's gonna be inside, man. You'll have a fun time with that.
It will be loaded.
Rusty, what about you, man? What are you guys gonna be doing on Easter? Hopefully, you don't have to go fly or anything.
No, I don't have to fly, but I don't want to bring anybody down, but the kids will be with their mother for the most part of the day. Then they'll come to me in the afternoon. But as you know, with Dad just passing this week, it's kind of like everything's in a mishmash. And
Sure.
so I'm probably going to hang at home for a while. And then when the kids get home, we'll hang out at the house. We'll eat. There will be plenty of leftovers because I've got some stuff here for them. And then we'll go from there. And then they're off school still. They finish off spring break on Monday. Like I said, we're getting ready for Noah's birthday, so it's going to be pretty busy. And it's not a joke. April Fool's, he was born on April 1st. Nobody believed us when we said her water broke back then. And then lo and behold, it's like, oh, what? You had a baby? Oh, you didn't believe us? So here he is, 21 years later, killing it. He's killing it. And I can feel for you guys in Erie because I fly there every morning. So yeah, I'm familiar with that. And get ready to be inundated in a week with all the Eclipse people too, with all the stuff they're doing up there, because we're doing it here too.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. That's all everybody's talking about.
I'll be in Avon, and I'm gonna probably be. I don't fly on Monday, so I'll probably be hammered by 10, and I'll sleep through the damn thing.
That sounds like crazy. A great Monday after
right?
Easter.
You're damn right.
Oh, that's funny. That is definitely funny. I think back about 7 years ago, before I moved up here, Easter weekend that year when I was still coaching in Pennsylvania, it was in the high 70s. And I remember on Good Friday, I went out to actually watch Penn State scrimmage at their home facility in State College. On that Saturday, I remember coming up to downtown Willoughby and hanging out for the day. It was almost 80 degrees. And I remember on that Sunday, it was like 75 degrees. Actually, we had Easter outside. It was so nice. So, but definitely interesting what everybody's going to do. So this one, I want everybody's going to have to kind of think here. What is the one most unique Easter that you've ever had? Whether you went somewhere, did something very different, something crazy happened, or something of that such. Like, what is the one Easter that stands out to you the most? JJ, you got to go first on this one, so I got to put you on the spot. You have a very unique Easter to tell everybody about?
Let's see here. I really don't have a unique Easter. They all just go according to plan. They all just run together. I never had anything exciting, anything crazy, anything different happen. I mean, they literally go according to plan every single year.
Fair. Okay, Brandon, what about you? You got to have a good, unique Easter story for us.
Unfortunately, I can't really think of anything too unique. I will say, I think the thing that I miss is, we're sitting here talking about, not to be somber, but just people that, just the Easters that we had with our family in the past. And so it's more of I think about the nostalgia of it, and remember those times. And it's and it's not to say that we can't make up our own times. And obviously I'm creating new traditions with my son and new memories with my son, but it's still in my head that, wow, you're never going to you remember those Easters you used to have as a kid, when you're a little bit carefree, and your family, all your family members that you were close to, everybody was alive. Everybody was at the table. Everybody was cooking. Everybody was doing that stuff. So it's pretty much more so those stories and those Easters that I remember and I miss the most. So I can't really think of anything else that really sticks out, but more so the childhood nostalgia of the Easters that I used to have.
Okay, I gotcha. Chris, you got anything for us on this one?
Yeah, as I thought about it, there really is only one Easter that really sticks out for good reasons. Like my sister popped her shoulder out of the socket one Easter, but that's not a good memorable one. So I like a good memorable one that happened one time. I remember, I believe Tiger won one of his Masters on Easter Sunday, and I just remember everyone was like in front of the TV in hysteria. We were yelling. And then we all hopped on the Wii. It had just come out not too long ago, and we all got on, played Tiger Woods golf against each other. And it just, I don't know. It was unlike any other. It was never recreated. It just, it happened one time for the one time, and it was a good time. So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Shannon, any unique Easter stand out to you from your memories?
I have a few that stand out. Celebrating them in Buffalo the day after Easter. So Easter was always a good time, hanging out with family and whatnot. But on Monday, we celebrate Dingus Day. And I don't know if they celebrate that in other areas, but it's pretty much a Polish holiday, I guess you want to say. And like everybody has off from work, or most people have off from work, and you're just like hanging out, having adult beverages and whatnot, and just, going to the different bars, learning about Polish culture and different dances and stuff. So it's really a cool community event, although it can get a little wild sometimes, but not as crazy as like St. Patrick's Day gets or something like that. So when I think of Easter, I always think of the next day, which is that Monday. It's like the party doesn't stop. And just having a good time, connecting with different people, different cultures. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Very cool. Jason, any unique Easter stand out to you from your memories?
I don't know about unique, but as I thought of my story, I guess I'm really all about the Easter egg hunt. And I thought of one year where I got an early jump on the kids and hit the yard and scattered them all before the Easter bunny made his rounds. And it wasn't until about 4 or 5 hours later that all the kids came over to do it. And whatever was in the yard, these little slugs got in all the little plastic eggs, and the kids, no one can see it. It ruined the whole thing. The kids are open like, what the heck? Yeah, so that was no go.
Very funny. That was no bueno on that one, man. No bueno on that. All right, Rusty, how about you? Any unique Easter, stand out to you?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty weird. We had just gotten married, and flying for FedEx, I was due for recurrent that week, and I ended up telling them I didn't want to fly down. I wanted to drive down because I wanted my car for the week. I figured I'd drive to Memphis, Tennessee for some reason from Cleveland. So a 10-hour drive on Easter Sunday, all that way, not a damn thing open other than the roadside gas stations. And I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but my new wife was fine. She was with her family. I would be back, in a week. I thought it was going to be great. And, man, I'm never doing that drive again for work. I'm just going to, it was a weird Easter because I traveled on Easter Sunday. We started recurrent class on Monday. But that whole drive, 10 hours, nothing opened except for the gas stations on the road. So it was kind of like a ghost town that whole way. But that was probably the only one that was out of the tradition. And it was just like, I'm taking off, I'm driving, it's Easter Sunday, see ya. So that was it.
Very interesting. I think mine on this one, when COVID happened in 2020, I was able to go home. In 2021, that year, all the sports in college got moved to the spring. So we had football going on, we had track going on, and we actually had a track meet Easter weekend. So I wasn't vaccinated yet. And I just had a track meet on Saturday. And that Sunday, I was like, I'm not going to go home. I don't want to get my family sick, like if I'm sick. So I actually stayed in my apartment. I grilled a steak and I watched all 6 Rocky Balboa movies that day. So I will always remember that. I'm eating. I got my Rocky hoodie on right now. But I remember I went for a power walk that morning. I ate a steak for like an early dinner, and I just watched Rocky Balboa all day long. And that was my most unique Easter I think I ever had. Spent it by myself, making steak and watching Rocky Balboa, which sounds like a pretty good day in a typical everyday life, but you're doing it on Easter because of COVID. So, all right, I got a good one here for you guys now, and I know JJ is going to appreciate this, and Rusty kind of hit on it earlier. What is your one favorite Easter candy? JJ, go.
Reese. The Reese eggs. I mean, you can't go wrong with those. Now they got like the big, huge, like 5 pound, 1 pound ones, man. You can slice them up. Oh man, yeah. Reese eggs all day and tomorrow.
Brandon, what about you, man?
Yeah. That's I love Easter egg too. But I'll throw in another little one in there too. I love chocolate meltaways. For those who are from obviously the Shenango Valley area, we have Daffin's chocolate, and Daffin's chocolate used to have the best chocolate meltaways I had ever tasted, and so that was usually always my go-to Easter candy was chocolate meltaways from Daffin's Candy.
Okay, Chris, what's your go-to favorite Easter candy?
All right, so JJ and Brandon said my top two, hands down. The Reese Easter egg, straight, you put one in each of my cheeks, and I'll play Chubby Bunny all morning. The bigger one, I'm a little more peanut butter than chocolate anyway, so slicing that up, I'm all about that. And Brandon, what'd you say? I forget.
The
meltaways. Yeah,
the meltaways.
That all day long. They got peanut butter and chocolate meltaways. So I guess I'd say there's only other one that would be like a separator for me. So I'll throw it out since they said those ones. Those little, they're like little chocolates, but they're different color with the heart outsides. My grandma would always put them in the little glass bowl. And when people would say kumbets, I didn't think of the nuts. I thought of those little Easter eggs. I was like, oh, those are like kid kumbets. So I always thought those were like the lucky nut to eat. So those little eggs, I don't know if they were Hershey or what, but they different color, had the heart outside. I'd put them up there with the meltaways and the Reese egg.
Okay, Shannon, what is your favorite go-to Easter candy?
My favorite is definitely the Reese egg. I think we can all agree on that. But if I'm going to throw something else out there, another fave is the Starburst jelly beans. They are just top tier in the jelly bean game. So those would be my top two, even though, yes, they're number one.
Jason, what about you? I mean, Jason, I know you're a clean eater and you're into the fitness and stuff, but you got to like some type of candy for Easter.
Yeah, I'm not a big candy guy, but if like in the office, someone brings in a Cadbury eggs, I might have one for the season because it's kind of old school.
Okay, Rusty, what about you? What's your go-to Easter candy?
Bar none. The Reese's eggs, man, you can't beat them. And I am so thankful that nobody said Peeps.
Oh, those are disgusting.
They're nasty. Hey, has anybody ever nuked one?
Yeah,
No,
the kids saw it. One of those damn things the kids saw on YouTube or TikTok or something, and then they did it one time, and it does. The thing gets to be like the size of a pillow, but then it explodes all over the microwave, and it's just that mess of sugar and marshmallow or whatever the hell they put in it. But Reese's eggs, bar none. I don't care what size. Small. Now they're even real small. They're ripping you off. But then they do have the giant ones that are like a football. And those things are, you could put those right up there next to the ham and slice them up and eat them up. You're dead right.
Well, I think, and I'm not a big candy person, but I will crush some Peeps, man. Just it's all about that.
Oh, come on.
Man.
Softness,
I gotta go now if you're doing Peeps.
I could just sit there and eat them with coffee all day. Cadbury cream eggs. Who doesn't like Cadbury cream eggs with the same commercials?
Those are good.
40 years. All of us have been alive, or even not, that we've seen Cadbury cream eggs with that same Easter bunny and that same lion dressed up like an Easter bunny on the commercial. Yep. But my go-to, yes, exactly. But my go-to,
thanks, Easter bunny.
Everyone's gonna think I'm crazy, but I love red vines. They're like the bootleg version of red licorice. Red vines are everything. They're everything. Love me some red vines. I will crush those on Easter all the time. Also, on a funny side note, I'll have to send you guys this on Instagram if you didn't see it. But I was going through my, like the stories or whatever people post the random videos, and there was a backyard bootleg wrestling thing going on with a guy dressed up as the Easter bunny just kicking people's butt in a wrestling match in some, I think, back room of some bar or something like that in a wrestling ring. So it's actually pretty funny. I'll have to send it to you guys on Instagram.
Oh, there was the one where he was beating somebody up out in the street. Bob Meanery did a real cool thing with that.
That was the evil Easter bunny. The Evil Easter Bunny. You can find that on YouTube. Don't show your kids that one, though. They'd be terrified. But Easter Bunny had some nunchucks and stuff like that. So just some funny things. Well, last topic for everybody. And you guys kind of talked about this, and we talked about this with the season, right? So with Easter's arrival, spring is upon us. So what is your favorite thing, to do in spring? When the weather gets nice. So what's your one go-to favorite thing, whether something with your kids or your spouse, or just that you just love to do during this season? JJ?
Usually the springtime has always been flag football season for me. I usually help coach or something, one of my kids' team or something like that. And that's always a fun time, just seeing young kids, teaching them, developing them, and the sport, and just to see them, it's just a good time.
Okay, Brandon, what about you?
I love doing spring cleaning, and I mean that on every capacity. I love throwing out everything. I love the first nice cleaning of your car, and then driving around listening to music. But this year, I'm really excited because it's the first year of signing my son up for. He's starting baseball, and so
Nice.
this is his first time doing. So I'm excited to go to the games and be one of those dads that hit the ball, keep your eye on the ball, son. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to that. We've been practicing already. So yeah, those are. I'm looking forward to, these new traditions, but that's typically things I like to do. I like to get rid of stuff and spring clean, have the windows open, get fresh air coming in, and just kind of, restarting. We've been talking a lot about renewal. And so for me, that's a spiritual practice to get rid of old things and go into a new season.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brandon, having the little one and the one on the way, if you like cleaning the car, you might just have to get a minivan now and just play Kids Bop, going on to the baseball games as you're driving a fresh minivan.
Look, man, if we gotta play Kid Bops, we'll play the Kid Bops, man. We'll make it work no matter what. We'll still be driving 5 miles per hour. Everything will be looking shiny though. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, you're gonna go from playing Fiddy Wop to Kid Bop, so it's gonna be
from trap queen to snack queen. It'll be something like
that. Chris, what about you? What's the one thing you look forward to the most in the spring?
Probably going outside, hanging out with my family. My son Giovanni's at the age where we could kind of play outside too, start, playing catch, running around, just being a little boy, getting muddy and stuff. So doing that, going on walks. And selfishly, I really get excited to golf this time of year. I'm not very good at it, but I really do enjoy the heck out of it. So, kicking it with the fam or golfing for sure.
Okay. Shannon, what about you?
I'm kind of similar. I love to go outside. So as soon as the weather is nice, that's probably the first thing I'm doing, going for a walk pretty aimlessly, or down by Presque Isle if you've ever been up here, kind of walking by the water. It's just super relaxing. And the other thing I like to do is buy candles that are spring scented, different flowers and things like that. So that when the weather is kind of crappy outside, it just feels kind of nice inside with the scent. So those are the two things: getting outside, getting the floral scents inside, the best.
Okay, Jason, what about you?
Yeah, as a football coach, this is one of my favorite times of the year. I like the spring practices and all the coaching clinics. Traveling a little bit, get down to the Scarlet and Gray game for the coaching clinic in the weekend. I try to get out to Happy Valley whenever I can. Just travel around and kind of have some me time at the campuses. It's fun.
Sure. And Rusty, round us out on this one.
Getting the yard ready for the summer is a big thing. Those first nice days. But the best part is getting the windows open in the house and turning the damn furnace off. And, that nice day where the sun's beating in, it's warm in the house. You can get the breeze in the house. My living room is filled with my kids' collections of freaking tropical pets. So where I don't have to have the heat on in the house at a certain temperature, I can get the windows open and it's all good. And the best part for me is going to work and not having to worry about getting that damn airplane de-iced when we have to leave in the mornings anymore. So
That's fair.
That's a good one.
That is fair.
Well,
before we let everybody go, because I am hosting the show, and Brandon knows this, and Jason knows this from when we did the Small Business Roundtable. Everybody knows when you're on the show, there's a fast Fiddy 5. But since there's actually more than 5 of you, and not everybody's going to get 5 questions, everybody's going to get just 1. So I'm putting everybody on the spot for this version of the Fast Fiddy 5 to round out the Easter episode. JJ, let's start with you. Okay, is Tom Hanks a top 10 actor of all time?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I would agree with you on that. I think he's top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brandon, your question is, what was a better invention, hand sanitizer or the GPS?
I would say hand sanitizer.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I think so.
They always have MapQuest.
Because of kids, man. These kids are nasty. And so we need that stuff on deck sometimes. And so they bring too many damn germs. So we need that spray on deck all the time.
Okay, that's fair. Chris, your question. Who would you rather be in their prime, Mike Tyson or Hulk Hogan?
Oh, Mike Tyson. There was no show like Mike when he was fighting. So Mike Tyson all day. Still feared by many.
But soon to be feared by Jake Paul when he knocks him out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Shannon, your question. What is a better Erie restaurant? And Brandon, we'll see what your reaction is to this. What is a better Erie restaurant? The Sloppy Duck or Rum Runners?
Ooh, I would say Sloppy Duck. Sloppy Duck has better food. Rum Runners has better drinks.
I approve of that.
I would agree on that. I would agree on that. And if no one's ever been to Erie, you just have to go, because you have to go to the restaurant called the Sloppy Duck. There's a giant duck outside you can take a picture by. It's great. It's great. Jason, who wins in a fight, Dracula or Michael Myers?
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Myers.
Yep.
My boy don't die.
Yep. Nope.
That's JJ's dude, Michael Myers. So, all right, Rusty, you're going to bring us home on this one. And I think it's going to, hit home on all of us because we all grew up with it. What is a better movie, The Sandlot or The Goonies?
Oh, dude, I'm torn. You know what? I'm going Goonies.
Okay. I mean,
I'm going Goonies. Sandlot movies like Sandlot have been done in different types, but the same premise of the movie. But Goonies is the freaking Goonies, man. I mean, come on. Who all doesn't love a good truffle shuffle now and then?
That is true. They're both great movies. So wanted to throw the Fast 55 at you guys and have a little bit of fun there with that. But to our guests, JJ, Brandon, Jason, Chris, Rusty, and Shannon, thank you so much for being on this episode of Ride Home Rants. I hope you guys and all of our listeners have a very, very great, very safe, and very wonderful, happy Easter. As always, if you like the show, be a friend and tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways, because they might like it just because you didn't. This is Fiddy signing off, and we will see you next week.
The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.